A British man with Asperger's accused of hacking into the FBI's computers will not be extradited to the US after a High Court ruling today. US authorities have been fighting for Lauri Love to face trial on charges of cyber hacking after he allegedly stole data from agencies including the Federal Reserve, the US Army, the Defense Department, NASA and the FBI. The student could have faced solitary confinement in the US and a sentence of up to 99 years in prison if found guilty. The 33-year-old, who lives with his parents near Newmarket in Suffolk, suffers from Asperger syndrome, a depressive illness and severe eczema, and his lawyer said he was at risk of suicide if sent to the US. Two judges sitting in London ruled in his favour today, prompting loud cheers from his many supporters in the packed courtroom. Love hugged his mother, Sirkka-Liisa, and his father wept.The. Judges declared in a written ruling, this appeal is allowed, and the appellant is discharged. Love, who is studying engineering at the University of Suffolk, now faces a wait to find out whether he will be prosecuted in the UK. The judges added, "We emphasise, however, that it would not be oppressive to prosecute Mr. Love in England for the offences alleged against him." Love is accused of stealing thousands of personal details of government employees from the US government agencies in 2012 and 2013. A judge at Westminster Magistrates Court ruled in 2016 that he should be extradited, but he took his battle to the High Court last November and appealed the decision. Lawyers for Mr. Love argued it was not in the interests of justice to send him to the US because there was a high risk of suicide and he should stand trial in the UK instead. Speaking after the result, Love said, "I'm greatly relieved I am no longer facing the prospect of being locked up for potentially the rest of my life in a country I have never visited." He added, "It was very unfortunate that the prosecution tried to paint my mental health conditions as being made up, fictitious, confabulated that contributes to the stigma of people with them." This decision is important for the appropriate administration of criminal justice and also for the humanitarian accommodation of people whose brains work differently. Speaking at a press conference after the court hearing, his father, the Reverend Alexander Love, said, "I want to keep him here so I can keep my eye on him." He said the ruling showed that, in Britain, then was consensus of compassion and that to be born British was to win the lottery of life. Love's girlfriend Slyvia Mann said she was really relieved and hoped no one else in Love's position would have to go through the same thing. Love's solicitors, Kaim Todner, said they were delighted with the result today. He added, "What is particularly important about this case is that the British justice system has taken the stance that we should deal with the matter ourselves rather than accept the US government's demands." It has also been recognized that mental health provisions in US prisons are not adequate to satisfy us that Lauri would not have come to serious harm if he were extradited. A spokesman for the law firm added, "In this instance, the court was very sympathetic to our argument that there was no real reason that a trial could not take place in England and that the effects on Lauri's mental and physical health would render extradition highly oppressive." This deterioration in health was likely to have meant that he would not have been fit to stand trial and that, therefore, extradition would not have been in anyone's interests, least of all those of the alleged victims. A CPS spokesman said, "We have received the High Court's judgment on Lauri Love, which we will now consider before making any further decisions."